Hi.
So today we're going to talk about what I call like kind of a check-in on how I feel, and Sarah calls recognizing emotions.
We have a disagreement as to what a name is.
Okay, so here's what it is. So there's, let's say, some sort of interaction between us. I'm triggered or you're triggered. Right away we're like activated. There's like a rush. There's all these feelings, whether it be like fear or like conflictive, anger, sadness, right?
Body sensations.
Some shit's going down, right?
You're
something
feeling
happened,
something.
right? Something happened.
Something's coming to the surface.
Right. So this is the moment that we want to talk about. That moment, which ideally you can expand and you can create a lot of space in this moment and flexibility in the moment, but initially the time or space between when this happens and a reaction event or being reactionary, right? So like I'm, instead of being composed or like more conscious or more with a little bit more poise, I'm like there's like it's an automatic trigger reaction, right?
Or we go into our brains, we start rationalizing it, we want to get distracted, maybe go shopping, maybe have a drink, maybe smoke something, instead of saying, my stomach just hurt.
Right. So what's possible in that moment beyond avoidance and trigger reactions, right? So you want to start?
So well, the whole purpose of this video is us inviting you to have that moment of awareness enough to name what's happening for you. So it can either be, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling scared, I'm feeling sad, or
offended, humiliated.
Right, those are the basic emotions, right? But there's many that there's a spectrum. I feel frustrated, I feel longing, I feel
invalidated.
Yeah, invaded. There's a lot of feelings, but there's like some core ones. It comes down to maybe sadness or anger or fear or So naming what is it that you're feeling, and then also, if possible, checking in with your body and see what feels how. For many years when we would have a fight or a disagreement, my right knee would hurt. When I was angry with Mike, my right knee would hurt, and I couldn't understand it, but there it was. And then it happened that I hadn't even recognized that I was feeling angry or upset or uncomfortable, and my knee would be talking to me. And right away I knew, something's up. I just haven't been able to see it. And sometimes, your back might hurt, your stomach, your bowels, your jaw, your throat.
Constriction too in your chest,
right?
Breathing,
or headaches, or you all of a sudden you start going like this with your fists. Like taking a moment to recognize what your body's going through and what it's trying to communicate to you, and also what your heart is telling you. What is it that your heart is feeling?
Can I say something?
Yes.
So I think that moment's like it's essential to what happens next, right? So whether it goes to shit, or whether you're an asshole, or whether you're avoiding what's going on and you just repress it, or that moment of like, can I admit to myself what I'm feeling right now? Because there's a lot of time there's a lot of shame and guilt and like, I'm unaffected by this and you're just an asshole or whatever it is, right?
Fake
I'm not
arrogance,
angry, but it's like, can you bring some awareness and say, I'm pissed off right now, or I'm really, I'm really upset right now, or I feel really humiliated right now. I just, for whatever reason, right? But that first moment of being like, something's happening here, And then go into this next moment, like, okay, well, what is it? And like you said, a physical check-in, an emotional check-in, and really, you always have time for this. This can take 7 seconds.
Because also, this is something that you're doing for yourself, right? This is a self-care act. Because you don't have to tell anyone what came up in this check-in. It can be just yours, but it empowers you. Your soul and your body are giving you information about something that you're navigating and what it's doing to you, right?
And then so then you have, let's say you have that moment where you can actually be vulnerable with yourself and say, okay, I feel this. I feel this way physically, I feel this way emotionally. And then there's the next stage, which is, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need right now? What's this need? What do I need to do? What can I do for myself? Or what's the relationship to the other person? Because that's like where the shit happens, right? Where it's like, no, you made me feel this way, and I'm upset with you, and that's the trigger, right? As opposed to, I'm feeling this. Maybe I'm feeling this because this reminds me of other times that people were mean to me, or I felt humiliated, or I felt small, or when I was little, or blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, what do I have to do to take care of myself right now? Because you're not, let's say something happened, I'm triggered. You're not even in the story yet, even though in my head you're in the story, right? But it's like, okay, what do I need to do here to take care of myself? And also, do I need to, this is the next part is, do I need to talk to you about this? Is there a limit, or a boundary that you've kind of violated and not respected, and I need to say, well, this isn't okay? But what's really, really key here is I'm responsible for what I'm feeling. Even if it's something you did that triggered it, I'm responsible for it. It's now inside me. It's doing all this stuff inside me. It's mine now. And it's so easy to just be like projecting it outward and think that the responsibility is outside to make it go away or feel better.
And by the way, I want to take a moment to say that whatever is the answer to how you're feeling in any given moment, it's okay. It's valid. You are okay. Because that's also really elemental about that checking. Whatever answer comes up, I feel humiliated, I feel ignored, I feel abandoned, rejected, whatever it is, because many of these emotions actually bring us back to our childhood. So if you feel like a kid with all these emotions coming up, it's normal and it's okay, and we all have our inner kid inside. So, don't try to be a grown-up about it, or rational about it, or make sense about it. Whatever your body and your heart are telling you, it's okay. Self-validate, self-approve.
Yeah, I think it's a big one. As far as, that's why I think the first big hurdle is, can I admit to myself what I'm feeling?
Yeah.
Because a lot of it's very hard. There's a lot of shame around it, or there's a lot of I'm not supposed to be feeling this, or the last time I felt this is because of this, and and it's this absolute inability to just, very often for me, it's the inability to just feel hurt in here, where it's I just feel hurt. And it's not more complex than that, I just feel hurt, but I'm gonna do everything possible not to feel it, because let's be honest, these things don't feel good.
It's uncomfortable.
These are painful or uncomfortable or sad,
scary,
or bringing up all sorts of traumas or wounds from really shitty things that people did to you when you were little,
or not so little.
Yeah, or not so little. And so it's oh God, I don't want to feel that. None of us want to feel any of these feelings. But at the same time, avoiding that, I should kind of wrap up probably soon. Let's bring it to me, okay? So me avoiding feeling this is going to create a worse situation, because I'm first of all, I'm bullshitting myself, and then I'm going to be subsequently bullshitting you, right? So all sorts of stuff, all the stuff that's going to come out, this convoluted avoidance of feeling bad, is not going to get us closer to connection or integrity, So it's that's the first thing you have to do, is just be okay, what am I feeling? Regardless of, like you said, it's totally valid, and it is whatever it is. Even if it's the same thing I felt 10 times before, I need to just be honest with myself. I feel it. And this has been a huge effort for me of years to be like, and like you said, just admit it internally and not say it to you. Be like, I'm fucking pissed off right now. I'm really upset right now. And be like, okay. Okay, where do we go from here? And it took me a long time to be able, I can do that now. I can internally be like, I'm upset. Because there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of stories. No, I'm fine. I don't know. It's you. You just did something, and there's something broken with you. You know, and it's bullshit. These are just bullshit narratives to not feel bad, to not connect, to not do the work, to go beyond that. You know, and so there's all these repetitive kind of scenarios and conflicts that are based on just not going beyond that one moment of like, oh, maybe it'd be nice to do this differently. It'd be nice to go a little deeper. Right?
We recently saw a therapist on Instagram say, when you were little, you couldn't deal with these emotions, but now you're an adult and now you can. So begin by realizing what these emotions are and naming them, and see what they want and what they need. You know, we should do another video on that later. But for now, check in, ask your heart how it's feeling, ask your body how it's feeling, and whatever the answer is, you're great, you're fine, you're doing perfect. We love you. Ciao.
Bye.